Welcome back to Max's Mean Machines. In this episode of Building the Beast, episode 21, we finally get to see the benefits of all the work we have done as we clear coat the car. Now, I don't provide a lot of video of us spraying the car in clear coat because that's going to be really boring. But we go ahead and we lay 3 nice coats of clear coat on our car. We're using a European clear, I think it's PPG. Anyway, we've had quite a lot of success with it, and we like it, and it's not too expensive, so that's what we're using. And you got to be somewhat careful here because you don't want to get too many runs. But generally you will get the odd run because this is the ultimate finish. So you're really trying to lay on fairly wet, but you don't want to go too far. And if you lay it on just right, you can almost get away without wet sanding and buffing it. Although if you wet sand the car, it can always come up even better. It is nice to have the option though, not to have to wet sand and buff it, especially on a huge car like this. And in some respects, if you don't touch the surface, the clear coat remains very thick and provides even more protection. But if you're looking for that ultimate finish, obviously wet sanding and buffing it is the way to go. Anyway, as you can see, Max has laid it on really nicely. I think there was a tiny run below one of the doors and stuff, but that is no big deal because on the clear coat, you can sand a run out very easily, and we'll show you that in a future video. But having said that, when you do your first coat of clear, you don't want to lay it on too heavy. You want to do kind of a medium coat because you don't want to get runs in your first coat, because especially on a metallic, a run can pull some of the metallic into the run, and even if you sand the run out, you can still see the visibility of where there's more metallic where the run used to be.
Well, there's the finished job. My son actually sprayed the car. I mixed the paint and kind of spotted, and but he's such a good natural painter. As far as we can tell, not one run, won't even have to wet sand and buff it, just laid on beautifully. And it's still flowing out, getting shinier by the minute.
I talk about keeping my expectations real, and the difference between a 100% paint job bodywork and 95%. It's a lot harder to get that extra 5%, and for me, it's just not worth it. You can spend 200% more time or 300% more time getting to that last 5%, and when you're building a street car which isn't going in a museum, I just don't think it's worth it for my projects because, I'm building daily drivers. But you'll see, I'm very happy with the reflections I'm getting down the side, which indicate, the quality of my bodywork. But it's definitely not perfect, which I've, often pointed out. But you got to keep it real, you got to keep the expectations, realistic. These old cars, when they came out of the factory, they were as ripply as you can imagine. So this is actually a lot better than the factory, quality, really. And look, you see how those trim bits came up? Those trim bits were so pitted. I mean, I would have normally thrown them away, but I actually sanded down. Oh, well, I actually started with a grinder on a flapper disc to get the surface smooth, and I was a little bit worried about removing so much because I thought I was going to go through the metal. But it was I had three choices basically. I could either sand them down, fill them, and paint them a color, which is what I thought I was going to do. Probably satin black or something like that, which would have looked cool. Or I could have tried to refurbish them by grinding the surface off, getting them really smooth, and then sanding them with wet and dry sandpaper. Well, I used my DA first, and then my last part of the sanding was with wet and dry sandpaper, getting smoother and smoother. And then I used them on my buffing wheel. I think this one at the bottom there, I haven't finished it yet. I just put it in place just to take the photographs.
Out pretty sweet.
But yeah, it was really good. You see how my gutter came out? That's the first time I've done a gutter around a car. That was all rusted off, and yeah, although it's not a work of art, it's still pretty amazing. And you see around the back window here, I mean all that was totally gone, and I fabricated it and made it really strong. And I had a few reservations about doing that as well, and I'm just delighted with how it came out. And I'm putting seam sealer around that, so that'll be fine. And then I masked off the entire car and redid my black because I decided it was easier to do that than mask it all off. Plus, it's probably got some protection with all the clear coat that stuck to it, which is, I mean, that sticks to everything in sight, so that wasn't bad either.
I repainted the black frame because I got overspray and stuff on it. I thought it was probably easier to just not worry about it and then mask off the whole car when I'm done and just go over it. But once I take the plastic off in a little bit, the whole car will look a lot crisper. It'll look really nice and smooth. And then I'll start on the wiring and putting all the dash together. Get all the electrics done. And then I will do the felt cockpit and interior, and then hopefully put the seats in.
So join us as we continue this awesome build. And we've got to do all the electrics, put the interior in. I made up a gauge cluster. I'm putting 2 cameras on the front and the back. We're just going to have some fun with it, and the car's coming together. And when you drive this down the road, it's just awesome to see the reaction of people. I really love this thing. It's something I've dreamed about for a long time, and it's surpassing my expectations as the build is coming to fruition. So anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate everybody who's been watching my videos and everybody who's subscribed, and I hope you continue to do so.